I don't need no introduction. You know who it is. It's Anu Kakaraka to represent this God is light. Light is electromagnetism. And I'm here to make God concept a tangible and observable understanding for all people. And quiet as it's kept, the overwhelming support that science share with the religious systems of the world and show you how they both testify in truth with each other. So with no further ado, let's talk about God is light. The world has a plethora of spiritual systems and religious systems, and those systems that our human experience has came up with has allocated God metaphorically and physically to being light. It doesn't mean that all of God is light, but an aspect of God is light. And that's the part of God that we're discussing today that we can tangibly see and experience. Kind of like my voice is an aspect of me, but it's not all of me. When we look at science, especially in the field of quantum physics, some of the discoveries not even 5 to 10 years old. We find this an overwhelming support for spiritual systems and religious systems around the world. We'll go over about 5 of these different phenomenon in this different segment of the debate. So let's deal with the very first one. God created the universe. Thanks to the brilliant minds at CERN laboratories in Geneva, Switzerland, with the Large Hydrogen Collider, they've been able to go back and recreate what occurred in the instance of the creation of the universe. 13.8 billion years ago, there was a singularity. Now imagine all of the planets, stars, dust, and gas all compressed down into one single point of energy. There's no time, there's no space. It's all contracted. That takes up zero time in zero space, and then an explosion takes place. Light, scientists have discovered at this instance, was part of a superforce and was a vital part in the development of matter. Einstein's E equals mc squared. Energy equal mass times the speed of light squared. Energy can convert and make matter. The more scientists observe this phenomenon, in order for atoms like hydrogen and carbon to retain their shape and form, the electrons that rotate around the orbital shell of an electron are held in consistencies by their orbit by light, a process called quantum electrodynamics. Fortunately, my opponent don't understand these type of concepts when it comes to the reality around them. As we see, light played a part in the creation of the universe and the creation of atoms of what we call matter. You can't even have brains without matter, without atoms. This is an awe-inspiring revelation for the religious world and the scientific world to come together. So again, this is supposed to strengthen your faith, not destroy your faith. This is supposed to validate for you the existence of God and not that false idol worship that my opponent engages in. I like to bring exhibit number 2 into play right now. There are a number of conditions that have to be just right for life to originate here on Earth and to sustain themselves over time. The tilt of the Earth, or having the right moon, or having the right amount of water. It's just so many factors. But when you get down to it, for life to originate, to sustain on Earth, you need right temperature. Scientists call it the Goldilocks zone. And anytime scientists are talking about temperature, they're referring to light frequencies, infrared light frequencies. Those are the thermal frequencies that give us heat. Also, for atoms to have the consistency to form into molecules, amino acids, DNA, RNA, and those things that makes up life forms. The atoms are held together with the consistency with light. So without light, you have no atoms and you have no form, and therefore there's no reality. Exhibit number 3. God is omnipresent everywhere at all times. Here's the W map, the Wilson Microwave Anisotropy Probe, launched by NASA in 2001 out into outer space to measure the temperature differences in the microwave cosmic background. What they discovered blew them away. They found out that it's a consistent temperature throughout the entire universe, originating from the beginning of the universe. So what that means in layman's terms is that light is everywhere in the universe all at the same time. And that is literally the definition of omnipresent. We also find in quantum electrodynamics, we also find in the works of Richard Feynman and other scientists around the world that light is everywhere with substance. Because all atoms are held together by light, light is omnipresent. As foretold, this is this man's intellectual death. Exhibit number 4, God is omniscient, all-knowing. Matter exists in what is called superposition, wave-particle duality, something else my opponent don't know nothing about. It's one of the most auspicious phenomenon in discovery in particle and quantum physics. However, experiments involving light to help study the transition of an invisible wave into a particle of matter. And in this transition, scientists used light to make that result occur. They found out unless they released the data or the knowledge of this transition won't occur. Light somehow has a knowledge of what's going on in the universe at all times. You wanted God as light, now you getting God as light. Now let me finish cooking. Exhibit number 5. God is eternal and is not bound by time. We measure time by moving at the cosmic speed limit, which is 186,000 miles per second. Now that's fast as fuck, boy. However, from light's perspective, thanks to Albert Einstein and his work on special relativity and time dilation, it takes light 0 seconds to get to one end of the universe to the other. Everything contracts back into a singularity, where it encompasses all time and all space. What this means is a photon that manifested from the beginning of the universe hasn't aged 1 second. And in 13.8 billion years, that same photon will not have aged 1 second. Light is the same today, tomorrow, and forever. Understand this, it's only 18 fundamental particles in the entire universe, and the photon is the only one. Neutrinos, electrons, quarks, taus, muons, only 18, but only the photon particle of light is the one that can align with the 5 qualities that we have presented here today. Creating the universe, creating life, omnipresent, omniscience, not bound by time. So from thousands of years ago, the human experience has given us the perspective of God as light. And we see science and religion indeed can go hand in hand without infringing on each other. And it's a stirring going on in the ethers that science not only facilitates God, but also proves the existence of God. So this debate is not about who God is. I'm not here to tell you what God's name is. I'm not into religious politics. I'm here to show you that God is light and light is electromagnetism, and that God manifests himself in the creation and in the reality that we live in. God is real. Now, with that being said, shout out Sekhmet the Goddess, Blood Over Wine Records, Olives and Bullets, Naga World Order, Naga 9 Studios Stand Up, Ampu Crew Stand Up, or Home Away From Home. Do a Google search, and Hernoble.com official Naga World Order merch, t-shirts, hoodies for the fam. Shout out Brother Bianchi, Paradigm Shift, Stand Up. Be on the lookout for Tahuti the Titan Killer on Killer Priest Podcast Show. We doing big things out here, you know what I'm saying? Nigga, I promised y'all this man's intellectual death, first round knockout, you know what I'm saying? Holla at your motherfucking boy. God is light, light is electromagnetism, and new Kakarot.